Whoop, turn around. There we go. How's it going today, guys? Sorry, I'm not ready. Let me get my mount here. Okay. What else do I need? Not yet, but I will need this light, so I'll put that on now. Okay. All right, how's it going? So, little bug spray. I got up here to change the traveler about 9 o'clock when it was supposed to be done, and it still had like 450 feet to go, which is a problem. So I decided to do a live stream because I got some time to kill. My little motor died again. It ran for 4 hours after I started it, and then it died, and I don't know why. I think maybe I've got a spark plug issue, so when it's done or it dies again, I'm going to change the spark plug. I brought some more. It's about the only thing I can think of, so we'll see. Anyway, got a little time to kill, so we'll do a live stream here. Today was a decent day. I got the combine all ready to go, so if you watched this morning's video, you know I started working on that yesterday. I got it, got the bean head all put back together, ran everything. It all ran good, so that is good. I'm happy about that. We've kept the water moving all day. Well, we've kept the water pumping all day, not moving, obviously. But overall, a good day, I guess. I'm getting, I could use a break. I wish we'd, after the last live stream, it, you know, right when I ended that, it started downpouring, and we got about 6/10 out of it, which is great. But Monday, the corn was curling already again, so was not nearly enough. How's the corn looking? So it's getting dry. Obviously, where we're irrigating, things are okay, and it's growing. It's growing fast. This isn't the best spot in the field. A little drowned out spot here, but yeah, the corn really, for the most part, looks good. Now, with our forecast that we have, 85 to 95 degrees over the next 10 days with no rain in the forecast at all, things are going to go downhill in a hurry here. It's dry, and it's going to get drier. But that's not a lot I can do about it. Irrigate what I can. All right, when do you guys think you'll start cutting wheat? I've been saying the Monday after the 4th of July for a couple of weeks now. I'm sticking with that for right now, although it is hot and dry, and it is maturing the wheat very, very quickly. There is a slight possibility that maybe by the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, somewhere in there, we'll try and open a field up just to make sure everything's running all right and see how it goes from there. So you never know for sure. Could be middle of next week. I don't know, but that's kind of my best guess right now, is sometime next week. Did you get new draper belts? I did not get new draper belts for the bean head right now. That one side, if you watched this morning's video, I talked about them yesterday. The one side does need replaced. I am going to do them, but probably after wheat harvest. I think they'll run through wheat harvest. So we'll get ones for fall, for beans. Yeah, nice hot temperatures. The corn is taking off. It certainly is. Like I said, this is a bad spot in the field for me to really show you how good our corn is. But it's amazing. So we've been up here irrigating this field. We started last Tuesday pumping water. So today's technically the 8th day. Well, but I didn't do any on Saturday or Sunday. So, but 8 days ago was when we started up here. And I bet this corn has doubled in size since then, because it was knee-high back then. I don't know. Go watch a video from a week ago and see what it is now. I found a spot in the field where the corn was chest high on me already. So pretty impressive how fast that it's growing, and if we can keep the water to it here. Man, look at that view. Is that not just the coolest? If we can keep the water to it, this stuff's going to keep growing really fast. Just take a second and watch. Sunset, the water shooting. Dang, that's awesome. Okay, where are we at? Yeah, turns out they were disguised as coyotes. You know, it's funny though. I don't know if you guys saw or if I showed it to you or not, but well, heck, right here, look at this. So we got coyote tracks in my irrigation lanes, and it's really funny because down there farther where I first noticed them, there were deer hoof prints right next to the coyote ones, and I thought, huh, think those were there at the same time? Or is the coyote maybe 10 minutes behind the deer and stalking it? I don't know. But we definitely get our share of wildlife out here. And in fact, when I was pulling in, there was a couple of deer across the river in the bean field over there eating our beans, because that's what they do. Scott, welcome. And for anybody else that's just joining, yeah, a little bit of a surprise, unannounced live stream here. Basically, I've got an hour to kill before the traveler gets down there. And so I decided to do a live stream. My pump the motor that rewinds it died on me with about 450 feet left on it. It was supposed to be done at 9. I don't know why that motor keeps dying. I'm thinking a spark plug at the moment, so I brought some more up here. I'm going to change it if it dies again or when it's done, and hopefully that fixes it. But while I'm waiting for it to finish, I thought, well, let's just do a live stream. Wasn't in the plan, so sorry for not broadcasting it and any notice on this, but we'll see how we do here. How's your hand-planted beans? Yeah, I should give you guys an update on those. They're still there. They're growing. They're flowering. They look really good. The weeds have died, so that helps. I definitely stunted them, or they got held back a little bit because I let the weeds get too big around them. I should have sprayed them weeks before I did. But yeah, definitely a success as far as that experiment is concerned. The beans grew. They survived the very late frost that we had. Yeah, I couldn't ask for better results than that. The wheat that we've got to combine, which is just a little bit more than normal, but not a whole lot. So should take us, if we have weather like this week, probably won't take us more than a week, but I would guess a week and a half to combine all the wheat. Trinidad, welcome. Do you guys have water hemp issues? We do not. So I don't know that I would be able to tell you what a water hemp plant looks like if I saw one, to be honest. And I know we're extremely fortunate for that. Sorry, it's going to get a little loud. I'm just checking this, make sure everything's still working right. Yeah, so we're still good. I sped it up to 5 feet per minute, 60 inches a minute retrieval speed. From the like 48 or 4 feet that we were doing, get it done a little bit faster. So yeah. All right. Sorry, I was answering a question. I got water hemp. Oh yeah. We don't have any water hemp that I'm aware of around here. I've seen it, but like in Wisconsin or Southern Ohio, and then travels not so much around here. So we're pretty fortunate from that standpoint. Our big weed that we have issues with, is that better? Is mare's tail. We have, I can't read it at all. We have Roundup resistant mare's tail that yeah, that's our problem weed. A little bit of ragweed, giant ragweed that's Roundup resistant, but not really too big of an issue. So hang on, guys. There we go. All right. So how much will you run the irrigation over ground-wise? I looked earlier today, and we've covered over 120, about 125 acres. I was gonna say over 123, but about 125 acres when this pull is done that we have covered. We've got 2 more to do in this field, but they're both fairly short. So we'll get another 15, I would say. So what's that? 125, 140 acres. That's about what I figured when I started, that we would get 140 acres out of the 170-ish. Anyway, out of the 170-ish in the field. I don't know why YouTube does that to me. It seems like in every one of my live streams, and always towards the beginning, it'll cut out and then it goes back to the main YouTube page like I'm watching the video myself and not doing it. And I'm sorry, I don't know why it does that to me. Okay, back to the questions. What are you hoping to average on your wheat? Good question. I don't think our wheat's going to be great this year. That flood did not help it, and this dry weather is not helping it. And so, I don't know. We like to get 80. If we can average 80 bushel, I'll be happy probably this year. Most years that would be sort of a disappointment for me, but it's not terrible. As long as we're not in the 70s, then everybody feels a little bit better. Because it wouldn't be able to reel it in quicker. That doesn't, the pattern doesn't matter. It's the amount of water that's coming out of it that matters, right? Well, I mean, the pattern matters to an extent, but it's side to side. So we're shooting it. We're 360 feet spacings on our lanes, and as long as the water's covering that, that's all that matters. If it went all the way around, then the ground that the traveler is going through, which obviously it's wet there, but that's from our center pipe. But this ground here would be wet and muddy, and it would cause all kinds of problems, and yeah, no good. So we do, it's a little more than 180 degree pattern. I would call it 200 degrees, goes about 10 degrees past on each one. How many acres do we irrigate? Like I said, 140. This is the only field that we do. We don't have another system. We don't have any pivots. So we just pull out of the river in the one spot and irrigate in this one field, and however many acres we cover, we cover. Looks like it's going to be about 140 unique acres. It's just a matter of how many times we go over it now. And as soon as we're done, we're starting over and going over it again. So plant sweet corn. I did plant sweet corn. Oh, you mean like in the fields? Yeah, I'm not doing sweet corn. That's way too much labor intensive. Nope, no way. Plus, I don't have a market for it. Yield difference over non-irrigated fields about, well, every year's a little bit different. This year is shaping up to be a bigger difference than we've ever seen in the past. But we'll find out. I would say usually we see 30, 25, 30, maybe 40 bushel yield difference. It may be more than that this year. How much rain did we get last week? We got about 6/10 there Friday nights. So we were up here. I did a live stream Friday, and it started raining right when I was wrapping it up. We ended up with 6/10 of an inch. This little mist that I'm in right here feels pretty nice. I was starting this up this afternoon at 3:30 or whatever time it was, and it was about 90 degrees and humid and hot and sunny, and I just wanted to go run in it and play, but jeans getting wet, not a good combination. Do I like John Deere's? Yes, I do like John Deere. Most of our tractors and equipment is all John Deere, so that's a fair statement, let's say. Is this your best ground? I would not call this our best ground. It's probably going to be our best field of corn, or it normally would be, just because it's got water. We did finish tiling this field, drainage tile, last fall, or at least got most of the rest of it done. So that will help this field out tremendously. But it's variable. It's got a lot of rolling. Soil types are different. We've got some sand ridges. We've got some river bottom clays. So I would not call it our best ground, but it is a good field, and we do really well up here. So how many total acres? We farm a little over 3,000 acres. Update on what you're thinking for an applicator. Yeah, I can tell you what I'm thinking, but we have not talked about this as a group, family, farm. at all since we finished, so I don't have a real good answer for you other than I really liked that John Deere bar. And I think that the speed and being able to put our anhydrous on or nitrogen on faster has some tremendous advantages. And so if I had to decide right now, that's the direction that we would go. But I don't know. It's kind of looking like it's going to get put on the back burner and shelved until we decide we need to think about it again, and who knows when. I told you in one of my videos last week, I think I'm pretty sure there's about a 40 side dress 2510H bar for next year. About a 20% chance we'll end up with a new shank style bar, the same style we have, just a new one. And the rest of the chances, whatever percent is left, 30-40%, that we just run the same bar that we have again next year. I gotta go see if I got any water in my truck. Oh. I can't talk for an hour straight and not have anything to drink. Yes, thanks Eric. Don't forget to hit the like button, guys. What about the Sparty Buckeye name for your fuel card? Yeah, I talked about that in the video that'll come out in the morning, but somebody left a comment on that video that said we should call it Drizzle Ditch, and I laughed out loud so much at that comment that I'm going with that. We're calling the fuel trailer the Drizzle Ditch. And if you guys don't get that reference, and when I said like Lightning River and stuff, company that makes fuel trailers, kind of professional, really nice, high-end, very nice fuel trailers, is Thunder Creek. And so it was kind of a joke about the Thunder Creek, Lightning River, Drizzle Ditch. It works. I like it. So that's what we're going with. Put my window up before all the bugs get in here. Okay. We've got half a bottle of super warm water, but whatever. And a mosquito biting my head right now. Got it. Okay. I like your videos. Thanks, Terry. Watch that sprayer is like watching the wake behind a boat or a campfire. Yeah. That's not why I spend so much time on this. It's just because this is what got to be done. But I will admit that, especially this time of night, there is something nice about just sitting here, watching that traveler shooting water. Do you use manure on any fields? So actually we kind of do. Hold on. I thought I would shut my truck off to turn the lights off. That was a bad idea because it's going to get hot in here. So we do use some manure. We don't have any livestock from our own farm, but we get some chicken litter from a poultry farm that laying hens that's not too far away every year. Usually put on our wheat stubble on some of the fields. I don't know how much we'll be able to do this year, but yeah, so we do use that. We also, at our farm down to Berkey, the neighbor has hogs, and sometimes they need some more acres to spread hog manure on, so we let them do that. Won't have any problem with GDUs this year. Definitely not. We are getting our heat units, that is for sure. Need rain up here in a Clyde, Mount Pleasant area. Yeah. It's, I know it's not super widespread that the area is dry, but it's definitely not just us. Why don't you guys do the Y drops? Well, we use anhydrous, that's why. Cost is a big part of that. Anhydrous is cheaper than 28. There is some benefits to the timing and the ability to apply with a Y drop. However, I will say this. Putting your nitrogen on the surface of the soil has some major drawbacks and concerns. Now, putting it at the base of the plant like a Y drop does is a very good spot to have it. And nitrogen is mobile, as we know. It moves down with water. That's great if it rains. Hasn't rained. Has barely rained 6 months since we finished all of our anhydrous. Whether that would have been enough to get the nitrogen in the ground or not, I don't know, probably. That would probably be okay. But the other thing is, usually you wide drop corn that's taller than what we side dress. So we probably wouldn't have been done getting our nitrogen on yet. We'd be finishing it up this week, and it'd be sitting there in dry dirt on top of the ground, susceptible to loss, and that's not a good thing. So there are some advantages to wide drops, but there are disadvantages too. And with the cost side of it and the ability to apply anhydrous, that's just kind of the way we've gone. When are you guys going to have merch? Yeah, I don't know. You're about the second person to ever even say anything about that. So I suppose if there ever got to be enough demand, it might be something I look into. But for right now, I don't have a good answer for you. John Deere bar didn't seem to stay in the ground when the back was come off. You're right, it didn't. That's the big concern with that John Deere bar is it going to stay in the ground? And I will say that conditions where we were running it was about the worst conditions that you could possibly run that thing in as far as getting it in the ground, because that clay knob in that field is very hard, and it got the crap beat out of it this spring with planting and replanting and the 5.5 inches of rain, and so it was hard. It was very hard. We won't see anything worse than that as far as conditions and trying to get that anhydrous bar in the ground. So concerning a little, but I still think it's worth it. Do you have a Dr. Pepper yet? Not tonight. I cut myself off from Dr. Pepper at about 6 o'clock. Otherwise, new combine. Yeah, new combine's not in the budget at the moment. I've heard that Minnesota got a bunch of rain, especially southern Minnesota. And also, it sounds like west central Indiana and eastern Illinois got like 5-6 inches of rain this weekend. So, thought about doing pre-plant with 28 and then follow up with anhydrous. Not really. I do put some 28. Well, I put some nitrogen on with the planter. I don't use 28. I use ATS for the sulfur. But we're getting somewhere around 20 to 25 pounds of nitrogen in our starter with the planter. So it's not like we're not putting any nitrogen out there until side dress, and so I have no reason to pre-plant 28. If we were going to do any pre-plant, it would be with anhydrous. It rained in Florida. Doesn't it rain in Florida every day? All right. Any of your hybrids drought resistant more than others? Yes, actually. So Golden Harvest has a trait that they call Agrosure Artesian. And it's not really a genetically modified corn for the drought resistance, but it is something that they breed and look for genetic markers to tell whether or not that hybrid will be resistant to dry weather. And so I have, how many artesian hybrids do I have? I know I've got a couple, 109 day for sure. And I think one of my 110 days is an artesian number, and maybe 103. I don't know. We'll see. So that's a good thing. That will help, certainly. Okay, we're going to get out and walk down to the gun again just to check on stuff. I get caught up with comments, so... It's going to get dark on me up here, which is no fun, but what are you going to do, right? So we've got 168 feet of hose yet. 150 divided by 5 would be 20 minutes. So it's 20 to 25 minutes before this thing is done yet. Ionia County. I used to live in Ionia County, briefly. I had a place up in Portland when I was right out of college. How is your treated seed done for your clients, and do you go out and do consulting with them? Well, nobody's complained yet. Let's put it that way. We did have some beans that had to get replanted, but that was beyond my control, let's say. Yeah. So we may or may not be irrigating the neighbor's beans a little bit, and while I don't really like doing that because they're not paying for that water, I'm paying for the diesel to pump it. It's just kind of the way my lane's worked out, and it's only for 150 feet here. It's pretty short, so not the end of the world. It's more important to get the corn over here than it is to not get those beans. So, but anyway, the treated seed is good. I have noticed some difference in the treatments from, you know, the higher treatment packages to some of the lower stuff. They're all good, but I've showed you that a little bit, the difference between my Saltro treated beans and the Elevo, which is a competitive product in my plot there. So kind of cool to see. I do go out and try and walk fields with some of my growers. I just haven't had time right now. I'm still trying to collect boxes and getting this stuff done, and having to do this irrigation last week and this week is just killing all my time. So I would love to be able to go out and walk more fields with my customers, and I will get there. I just haven't had time yet. So you guys spread any fertilizer with a spreader like potash and DAP, that kind of stuff? Yeah, so dry fertilizer like that is all fall spread for us. We don't do it ourselves. We have our local fertilizer retailer spread for us because it's a timing issue. We don't have time in the fall when we're trying to combine beans and everything. But we do hire a crop consultant to do our soil testing for us, and they make variable rate prescription maps that we send to the fertilizer dealer, and they follow them and put on what is recommended, and we just go with it from there. So yeah, we use quite a bit of dry fertilizer. How many pets do we have? So I don't have any pets personally. We have a dog at the farm that's really my sister's, but it's around the farm all the time. So yeah, but I live in town, and I refuse to let my wife get a dog in our house in town. Not happening. Nope. See any coyotes out there tonight to match them tracks you saw? No. I don't know if you saw earlier, Al. I was actually showing the coyote tracks right where I'm walking here. But I haven't seen them. I know they're out here, but I have not seen them. How many days does it take to irrigate your field? Yeah. So good question. We are on, let's see, what's today? Tuesday. This is the second day plus 4. So this is the 6th day of pumping water since we started here. It's the 8th day since we started, but the 6th day of actually pumping water. And I think the thing is, though, that since it rained, everything I've done yesterday and today, I've been putting on just a ½ inch of water, or less than an inch, less than what I would want to put on. So it's going a little bit faster. And so if I wanted to put an inch on this whole field, and we started over and had to get across, I think it would take 8 or 9 days to do the whole field. But we're pumping a tremendous amount of water. I looked at the little spreadsheet that I've got made up for tracking runs and water usage and all that stuff, and we pumped over 2.5 million gallons of water already. So it takes a little bit of time. My phone keeps wanting to dim the brightness of the display because it's dark out here, but then I can't read. Always good to help a neighbor. Yeah, I'm sure they won't mind. Case or John Deere? I'm more of a John Deere guy. We run all John Deere tractors and combines and that stuff, so that's what we prefer. Are you a certified crop advisor? I am not. I probably could pass the test without a whole lot of studying, but I've just never taken the time to go and do it. And probably something I should do for my seed business. What causes the sulfur to get so low in your corn? Yeah, so sulfur is a mobile nutrient. It's just like nitrogen, where it attaches to the water kind of, and it'll move with the water through the soil. and so it leaches out. So we can't really count on our soil providing much sulfur, and basically anything that we want our crop to have, we have to apply every year. Now, it didn't used to be that way. Back in the 70s and 80s, when we had acid rain, and our rainwater had sulfur in it. So every time it rained, we got free sulfur, which was great for growing corn and soybeans and wheat, but not so great for air quality and pollution and stuff. So they passed the Clean Air Act and started cleaning up the sulfur and the pollution in the air, which is a good thing. I'm not complaining about it. But what that did was take the sulfur out of the rain, and we no longer get it for free, and so we have to buy it and apply it to our fields. So, hey, do what you got to do for the environment, right? Same weather as you, northeast Ohio. Just started wheat today. Good. Start double crop beans tomorrow. Nice. I don't think we're going to do any double crop beans this year. And it has more to do with the chemicals that we put on our wheat to control the weeds, because it was prevent plant last year. And yeah, just the beans, that's just not really an option for us this year. We don't usually have to do that. We usually have the option to double crop, but that's okay. It's so dry now, double crop beans wouldn't grow anyway. Any plans on fixing the 40-20 steering problem? Yeah, I have plans on it. I just don't know when. We do a really good job with maintenance on the equipment that we use. Let me put it that way. If you guys have been with me for a while, you've seen my shop videos from the winter where I brought all the tractors and the combine and everything through the shop, and we worked on them all and made sure that they were ready to go. The 40-20 is not a primary use tractor. I use it for this, pulling that traveler around. That's about it. And so it doesn't get quite the same amount of attention and care because it doesn't see the use. So yeah, it needs to get done. It's probably something that's beyond my abilities. So either I'm going to find somebody to do it or take it to the dealer or something, which means spending money on an old tractor that we don't use, which we don't like to do that much. But it needs to get fixed. It will get fixed. I don't have time right now because I'm using it, and it's fine. It works. But yes, we're going to get that fixed. What made me start doing YouTube? You can read the descriptions in my videos for a little bit longer explanation, but I had some videos a long time ago, different style, wasn't stuff that I was narrating like this, that did pretty well. And that kind of got me started in it and hooked, and I got a little bit of a following. And I'd always kind of tried to figure out how to get behind the camera and actually talk on it. And it took me a long time to figure out how to do it and how to make it work and to just do it, basically, which is the trick. You just do it. But I started watching Millennial Farmer and Brian's farming videos and these other guys doing it, and I said, man, I can do that. It's not that hard. I can do it. And so I just did. That's why, or that's how. Yeah. You need a holiday. Going on one with the family. I do. But I don't have time right now. There ain't nobody else that's going to do this irrigation, so it's up to me. And we're going to the lake this week. Got plans for that, so that's good. I'll get my breaks, don't worry. We don't have any trips planned imminently right now. It's sort of hard to travel with two little kids at the moment, so, and with everything being shut down anyway. We may try and get away for a long weekend, go up to visit my sister or something like that up north of Grand Rapids. All right, do you have a favorite type of snack food? I mean, I'm a pretty big fan of Reese's and Oreos. Does those count? Yeah. I have a, okay, story time, kind of story, something, anyway. Have you ever noticed how companies have this weird obsession with making products better all the time? Products that we already like. The best example I can give of this is Pizza Hut. Right? Pizza Hut comes out with a new pizza about 3 times a year that's something brand new and fancy, and you know, like the Cheesy Bites crust or the big New Yorker style that they had 10 years ago, or whatever they do. That's some promotional thing to make you want to buy their pizza, right? And my whole thought process on that is, dude, we already like pizza. You don't have to make it better. it's already good. You don't have to do that. Well, I found an exception to that, and it's with Reese's. I don't know whose brilliant idea it was to put the pieces in the Reese's peanut butter cup, but it was brilliant. They're delicious. So yeah, good job, Reese's. Are your beans enlist or dicamba or something different, and has your area outlawed dicamba? All of our beans are Roundup Ready 2 Extends, which is the dicamba resistant beans. However, we had no plans of spraying dicamba in season post-emerge. We did use a little bit for burn down way ahead of when the beans were planted, but we did not have any plans of spraying now. Now, we have done some in the past, and we've never really had any problems. I have seen dicamba damage around here, but nothing from what we've sprayed, nothing on ours from our neighbors, obviously, because we plant all Extend beans. As far as has it been outlawed here, honestly, I don't know what the current rules are. From what I understand, at least on a national scale, you're able to use it until July 31st, but I know a lot of states had cutoffs like June 20th or probably today, June 30th, and so it's not going to get used anymore. So didn't affect us a lot. I have my thoughts on the whole thing as far as letting a court decide what we can and can't use, but yeah. Chicken and biscuit crackers. Yes, you were right, Michael. Thank you. Smallest tractor is going to be our 4020 that I got up here. It's also our oldest. It's the 21 bottom plow video. Yes, that one. There's a couple of them, but yeah, those ones did really well. I have one of my old videos that it's got 5.5 million views on it. That one did pretty well. What about the rest of your corn? Too dry? Yes, it is too dry. We need some rain, and there's none in the forecast. It doesn't look good, and I mean, the corn still looks pretty good. I'm happy with it, but a week from now, when it's 90 degrees and we haven't got any rain, it's gonna look really tough, and I'm sure you guys will see it. I will show you. Do you watch Cole the Corn Star? I've seen some of his videos. He's not my style, and that's okay, because we need all kinds of different voices in agriculture and stuff, but I can't watch his videos for very long. Hot out there tonight. It's actually not so bad now. We're probably in the, I don't know, mid to upper 70s at the moment, I would say. Sorry, I keep walking out here and tripping this. If I push this over, it goes back the other way, so I don't water the neighbor's beans so much. Regular, double stuff. Oh, double stuff is the only way. I mean, I'll eat the regular too, but double stuff for sure. Favorite part of my job on the farm? I really like the variability of it. The seasonality, the changing jobs, the fact that I'm not doing the same thing every day. You know, I've been irrigating for a week. I was in a planting tractor for a long time this spring. Every day different. And then it's completely different season to season. You know, I spent a lot of time doing shop work in the winter, planting in the spring. You know, we're getting ready to get into wheat harvest here. Everything's different all the time. So that's what I really enjoy about it. Yeah. Do you own all your equipment or do you lease it? We own all of our equipment. We have never leased anything, and for the life of me, I can't understand why people would lease their equipment, but that's just because we've never done it, I suppose. Al, you don't have to do that. 9.5 inches of rain in the last 3 days. Oh man. Yeah, I've heard parts of Indiana were really wet, like I said a little bit ago, but 9.5 inches is way too much. Share it. Send some of that up here. Combine is ready to go. I finished that up today, so we are ready for wheat harvest whenever wheat harvest is ready. I got a couple small things that I got to do yet. I got to get the GPS display and receiver put on the combine, and I got to go to Berkey and get our grain cart yet, which is tomorrow's plan. When am I going to get an 8RX? When you guys send me $500,000, that's when I'm going to get an 8RX. They're pretty pricey. And they're very nice tractors. I would love to have one, but again, not in the budget. Although corn was up today, so you never know, right? Or an X9 combine, yeah. They haven't released pricing yet on the X9, but I'm guessing the price tag on that machine with 2 headers will be north of $750,000. I don't know if it'll be $1 million, but it might be pretty darn close. Yeah, that's the best part of farming, is everyday new journey. Yep, and driving tractors. Yeah, I do like operating the equipment, not gonna lie about that. 90 degrees in Florida today. Well, that's about the same as it was here. Should always have your Arctic water cooler. Yeah, I've been thinking about that. I should be carrying that around with me right now, but I don't know. It's easy to set in the corner of a tractor cab. It's harder to carry with me all day. Any thoughts on new high-speed discs? You know, we've never run one. We have a Landau 7431 VT, which is a high-speed disc, but it's not what you're talking about. It's not a compact, short, high-speed disc. I don't know. I'd kind of like to try one, but I don't know what the fit is exactly and what we would use it for. But they look interesting. I like being able to go fast. Going fast is fun. Do you have any hired hands? Not really. So it's me and my dad and my uncle full time. Warm water. Ooh. And then I have another uncle that helps us out time to time as we need it. He's a retired mechanic, so he's a good asset to have around. That's Jack, for those of you that have been around for a while. And then we have a neighbor, a buddy of mine, that used to work for us full time, and he's kind of taken on his own stuff doing the straw. And so a few days a year he may drive tractor for us. 92 in Ontario. Whew. You contacted your dealer about demoing X9. Yeah, I called him and I said, when's my X9 coming? And he didn't have an answer for me. And I said, well, what the heck, man? Don't you want some YouTube exposure? But he didn't seem to think that I was on the list for a demo. Don't know why. Huh, how about that? Yeah, I would need a tripod to carry that gallon jug around everywhere. Ever gone mudding? I've had some fun on a four-wheeler before. With corn at $3 per bushel, does it still cover the fuel cost to irrigate? Yeah, it does. So let's go through the economics a little bit of it, right? So we're running that generator, and it's burning somewhere between 3.5 and 4 gallons of diesel fuel an hour. Let's go with 4 just to be on the high side of it and be a little conservative for when mistakes like tonight happen and it runs for 2 hours without actually covering any acres. We bought diesel fuel for $1.13 a gallon this spring. So 4 times $1.13, you're up to what, $4.50 an acre, or an hour in fuel cost. And we're irrigating a little over an acre an hour right now, about 1.1 to 1.2. So for $4 to $5 an acre in fuel, that's 2 bushel to more than pay for that. If we get 40 or 50, which is a real possibility this year, yeah, we covered our fuel costs. And we're covering the cost of the fertilizer that we're putting on. I'm still putting on some of that ammonium thiosulfate. And we're covering some of my time. Although, I don't know. Some days I wonder. Where do you sell your crops? We go to a few different locations and places. The corn, we used to take most of our corn, or a lot of it, to ethanol plant over in Riga, Michigan. But they've been shut down for the last year, 18 months. So we haven't taken anything there for quite a while. There's an ethanol plant up in Albion, Michigan that we haul some to every now and then. And there's one down in Leipzig, Ohio that we take stuff to. We also have a local elevator that we haul some corn to, especially in the fall because they're close and it's easy to get in and out. And that covers most of the corn. A couple of livestock guys around that we sell some to once in a while. but not a lot. And then as far as soybeans go and wheat, well, let's talk soybeans. Soybeans either go to the same local place that the corn goes to, or they go to Toledo to the Andersons, who has a port there on the Maumee River, Lake Erie. And wheat either goes to Toledo there, or there's a miller up in Quincy, Michigan, Star of the West, that we haul there too. Do you park any equipment in your seed warehouse over the winter? Not really, no. And it's because I'm bringing stuff in all winter. I'm bringing in seed and have trucks coming in and out throughout the winter. And so stuff would have to get moved all the time to get those in and get the seed in. So don't really use it to store equipment. Saw your video today where you were replacing all the blades on your combine. You're only replacing some of the guards. Shouldn't you have replaced them all? No. So yeah, so that was yesterday. I was replacing the knife sections on the cutter bar, and those get dull. They hit rocks, things happen, the teeth break off, whatever. So we like to replace those every year. They run down in the dirt, especially in soybeans, right on the ground, trying to clip those beans off as low as possible, and they wear. The guards, while they do wear, what's critical on it is that it has a nice sharp edge. And so I tried to show that, where some of them were still really sharp, especially the ones that are just replaced last year that were the high wear hardened ones. But some of them had started to round over and were more of a cone shape. When that happens, it makes it harder to cut stuff, and it puts more drag, I guess, on that cutter bar and the drive system for it. So that's why I replace them once they start to get rounded. But those guards are $30 a piece or more. Like, you're not just going to replace them to replace them, especially when there's 100 of them on there. They're expensive, so we're going to wear them out and not just replace them. What is the main factor as to why you guys don't no-till your crops? I could go show you a field and tell you, and that would explain it, but it's dark. Experience. We've tried, and we do a little bit. We do no-till our wheat, and we have no-tilled some beans and still do no-till some beans. But anytime we have tried no-till corn, it just does not perform well. And I like to tell people that I'm sure no-till works. I know no-till is probably a better way to farm. I am not a good enough farmer to make it work. I just haven't figured it out. And to be honest, I haven't tried real hard lately because of what's happened when I've done it in the past. So I would really like to get into some strip till stuff. So I'm kind of trying to figure out how to do that this fall for next spring, but haven't got there yet. Yeah. See you later, Scott. What would you say to a new farmer starting farming? It's pretty hard. I hope you got some help. You're not just going to start from scratch on your own and expect to be, big time with new equipment and stuff. So my best advice is find a neighbor, find somebody that wants to help you and that doesn't have kids of their own, preferably, that you could find a way to buy them out eventually. That'd be if I was starting out on my own and I didn't have a family, that's what I would do. I would find a neighbor or somebody that needed help and was getting older and wanted to slow down and figure out how to work for them and buy into their operation. It's about the only way I see it happening. 2 inches of rain and raining right now. Where's that at, Nick? You have a great maintenance program, but do you have any restoration project you'd like to do? I do have a restoration project that I really want to get to. I don't know when it's going to happen. I did restore the 4020 here about 8 years ago. We tore it down, sandblasted, painted, redid the whole thing. I've got another project I really want to work on. I'm not quite ready to tell you guys what that one is just yet, but I got to get it. And then we'll hopefully have a project. Who knows when I'll have time to do it, but yes, I do enjoy doing those. It's just, again, it's not critical to the operation of the farm, So it's got to be when the farm stuff is done. Yet a row cleaners and a mix mate for your chemicals for spraying. Yeah, I've thought about row cleaners. We definitely don't need anything for mixing chemicals. What we do works really good. What price for cash corn or soybeans do you think you need to make a living this year? Oh gosh. As high as possible. Well, let's put it that way. I don't know. I don't have a great answer for that right off the top of my head. I'd have to sit down and figure out some break evens and everything. And we've done a little bit of that. I don't have the numbers with me right now. But yeah, the higher the better. You know, $4 corn was the goal last year. I don't know that $4 corn is realistic this year, but $3.50 would sure be nice. I don't know. I didn't see exactly what the markets did today. But I know the crop report was rather favorable. Good, most of them. Our beans are kind of in that awkward juvenile stage where they just don't ever look good at this time because they're short and they're yellow because they're not fixing enough nitrogen yet, and they put out new leaves that are yellow, and then they green up for a couple of days, and then new leaves come out and stuff, and you think they look like crap, and then you walk out there in a week or two and you're like, dang, these beans look really good. So for the most part, they actually do look really good. I'm really happy with them. There's a few spots here and there that are struggling. They're going to start hurting from the dry weather, but beans aren't impacted by a drought early in the year, and this is still early in the year, as much as corn is. Beans will keep progressing a little bit, but the short weather will keep them shorter, which is not a great thing, but it's not a terrible thing either. But they have a taproot that goes down deep into the soil. They're able to scavenge some moisture up a little bit better than the corn does. Majority of a corn's root system is in the top 4 inches of the soil. They do have roots that go down deeper and can find some moisture deep in the soil, but the vast majority of it is in that top few inches. So that's where we really need moisture to be in order to grow good corn. Yeah, but our beans look good. You guys got any rain yet? We got some rain on Friday. We had about 6/10. That's it. So nothing since then, and it certainly wasn't enough. Western Kentucky. Okay, you're probably just as wet as the guys in southern Indiana then, Nick. What kind of chemical program do you guys have? How often do you change that program? So on our corn, we've been using Acuron with a little bit of added atrazine for probably the last 3 or 4 years. We really like that program. We don't do much corn on corn, so I'm not super worried about switching programs for each crop because we're rotating crops, so we're rotating chemistry every year because of that. So the Acuron on the corn works really, really good. We've had great success with that. In fact, the fact that my irrigation lanes are still clean and there's not any weeds coming in them is a testament to how good that chemical works. On beans, we have a couple of different programs that we use. The majority of the acres gets either a product called Matador, which is I think a Loveland product from Nutrien, or some Authority XL and a little bit of added Metribuzin. Those two programs pre-emerge have both been really good for us and seem to work really well. And like I said, mare's tail is our big issue, and with those two chemical programs, it seems to keep the mare's tail down pretty well. We also, once in a while, if we have some beans that are up before we get them sprayed, we'll use some prefix or some other chemistry on those beans. But that's the bulk of it. How many acres? We farm a little over 3,000 acres. How long have I been farming? I came back to farm full-time back in 2009, but I grew up on a farm. I've been doing it my whole life. Thanks, Bruce. How big is the header you run on wheat? Same one we run for beans. It's 40 feet. Have you heard about Resicor? Yes, I've heard of it. I don't know much about it. But yeah, so. All right, we got to get out and see where we're at here. Our traveler's got to be about done. Okay, hold on. I'm going to see if I got my magnetic mount. I'm not going to be able to answer that. Then we're going to end this. But let me put the magnet on here. Stuff sticks to magnets. Oh yeah, I need this one. And a spark plug wrench. we are going to change that spark plug. Okay. You guys are also my light, so sorry if I'm not looking at you. All right, so we made it almost all the way in. There's just about 26 feet there. So we're going to start it back up, let it finish reeling itself in. We get to play in the mud now. We got to push this little button. Okay. Now, while that's finishing reeling in, and where can I put you guys? Right here. We got to roll or lift up these stabilizer legs. You can't see anything there. How about over here? There. Okay. Now while we're waiting for that to finish, it's getting too muddy. Okay, we're going to start up the 40-20. We're not moving, but I need the light. Okay, we're going to start up this tractor because we need it to pull the gun out. All right. Alright, now we gotta wait for this to finish. Any seed production in your area? We do not have much here. It's mostly west of us, northern Indiana, west Michigan. They've got sandier. That's why the seed corn's grown over there. Have fun golfing tomorrow, Al. There'll be a video at 8 a.m. Okay, we're getting close here. Got these chains with hooks on it. We got to hook them on there when they get close enough. It feels like it's raining, but I think it's just coming off of there. Oh yeah, it's bouncing off of this. There. Yeah, I knew it wasn't raining. Wishful thinking, right? Almost. So timer shut our pump off, in case you were wondering. Okay, now we crank it up, this crank. Okay, I gotta lift these stabilizer legs up. Okay, so now we're ready to turn. Well, we're almost ready to turn it. We've got to we got to disconnect the hose. That's not metal. Okay, now we're ready to turn it. Go over here. There's this latch. Pull that out. And you go down here and push. It rotates the whole cart. About right there. Okay. Now we set her down. Okay. I gotta pull the hose over here. Okay. Spin this so it's not kicked. Now we can open our valve up. Now I just got to make sure that the hose is kind of laying in somewhat of a circle pattern so it's not kinked too tight. Otherwise the little kink won't put pressure through it, but that should work. Okay, we're gonna put our pump in, or disengage the gearbox. We got to put this stabilizer leg down. better way to do this. Hand cranking this gets old. I've been thinking of some ideas, I just haven't got to it yet. Okay, then we unclip. Come on. Okay. Now we hook up to our tractor. And we're ready to pull. I'm gonna turn my lights on my reel. I don't think this isn't gonna be a full pull, so we probably won't be able to see them. But maybe. Okay. Turn my lights on. There we go. Now we can see something. I still don't have any rear lights on this tractor, which is a little bit of a problem. I believe my current thought is that when I was putting a new headliner in here earlier this spring or winter, I probably bumped something, a wire harness, in the ceiling and unplugged them. And I need to take it apart and see if I can fix it. Okay. 3 miles an hour. So you can see my lanes here. Just a little damp here. That's where it just finished spraying because, like I said, we rotate past 180 degrees a little bit, so it sprays kind of in front of it, but it's not wet, it's just damp. Alright, we can get to some comments. We're way past that. When are you going to have your next live stream? Honestly, I have no idea. I didn't know I was going to do a live stream tonight until I got to the field and was like, I got an hour to kill. What should I do? So, it'll probably be doing wheat harvest. I'll probably try and do one from the combine, to be honest. So, maybe next week. I don't know. Getting a good arm workout. Yep, that's a good arm workout. Cordless impact drill. That's exactly what I'm thinking. The problem is I need to replace the shaft in there and... because that one it's a bent shaft coming out for that handle to go on that I spin, and so I can't just put welded a nut to it. Then I could use an impact to spin them down, and that's my thought. I had some shaft I was out today I thought would work, but it was 5/8, and I'm not real sure what size those are. I thought they were 3/4 maybe, but they actually seem to be like 0.8 of an inch on my calipers, which it's close enough to 3/4, but it makes me think it's metric because this thing is Canadian and it's some goofy size that I don't have, but I think 3/4 inch rod would do the trick, but I gotta make it. Might not last in that reel. Yeah, we'll see. So far they've been working really good. They're little LED lights, stud lights. They're super durable light. I don't think the light will be the issue. The battery pack is more the problem because it's using AA batteries and it's just stuck to the outside of the reel, or the wiring that I didn't secure because I didn't have any zip ties. But those things are easily fixable and replaceable. So no big deal there. Made a socket to go on the handle piece. Made a socket for the trailers. Oh. Okay. Late night watering. Yep, we're doing some late night watering. I try and keep this thing running 24/7 as much as possible. I was halfway tempted to shut it down tonight, and I still might. I'm gonna see what our footage is on this run when we get it all pulled out. and how long it's going to take. Because if it's close to a full 8 hours or more, I'll probably start it tonight. If it's not, I don't want to come in the middle of the night. What time is it? It's almost 11. Ugh. So we'll see. I may slow it down a little bit and make it take 8 hours just so I can keep it running. I've got one more run I need to make before we start over, and I would really like to get to that tomorrow and get back to the other end of the field tomorrow. So this one getting tonight would be pretty beneficial. You can still use the handle. No, you don't. Maybe I didn't explain. I'll show it to you when we get back up there. But the handle is bent and it goes straight into the jacks. It doesn't come off. Like it's got a roll pin through the socket or through the gear inside the head of that thing, and it's all one piece all the way out. And it's I'd have to replace it or cut it off, and I don't want to cut it off. Don't forget to replace the spark plug. I know, I wanted to let that motor cool off a minute while I pull this out before I did that, because there's a hot exhaust right next to the spark plug. Okay, turn you guys around, we're about done here. So the river runs right through here on an angle, and if I get too close, we'll be shooting water right back into the river, which, again, not the end of the world, but I'm not paying to pump water into the river to pump it right back out. So we kind of want to maximize the throw with how far. Yeah, there's 80 feet of end rows, but we're on an angle, so it's a little bit more than that, 200 feet. We'll call it somewhere right about here. Yeah, there. Oop. Again, you guys are my light, so. Okay, now we gotta get out. Put you right here. Oh, sorry. There. Now we unhook. And then these stabilizer legs have to be put back. Essentially what they do is keep the gun at the right angle. In order to get the right trajectory and throw, this angle has to be right, and those stabilizer legs help keep it right. Okay, back in the tractor. I'm gonna go find the next lane. Ooh, which is going to be very difficult. I don't have any lights on the back. Okay. Is there anything metal in here I can hang you guys on? Negative. Alright, let's go. Trying to run over as little corn as possible. Sometimes that is difficult, especially when you gotta make turns that are sharp, because that is the river right there. Okay, so somewhere about 360 feet down the lane here is my last irrigation lane. We gotta find it. Problem is, it doesn't come out to the end because I got end rows there, so we gotta be able to see it out in the field. No, that's not it. I'll be close. There it is. There it is. Okay. Now we're gonna back out here. Ruts. Found it. Let me turn it around. So the reason we have to back down these lanes is because the pipe is on the other end and there's nowhere to turn around. So we back all the way down them. This one will be easy to tell when I get to the end because there's corn there. Some lights on the back of this tractor would be really helpful. Somewhere about right here. Okay, good enough. So we're done with this tractor. Shut it off. Now we gotta walk back down there to our traveler, check our footage, and then we go start the pump. That's not what I wanted. Where's my comments? There we go. Okay. $80,000 trailer came with hydraulic jacks. Yeah, I bet your $80,000 trailer did. They make hydraulic jacks for this. We didn't buy them. I should have, but I didn't. Didn't y'all have an S670? Nope, we've never had an S670. We have an S680. It's just a size bigger. Not how much corn to run over. It's not much corn to run over. You could just run it over. You mean to turn around? Yeah, it's not much corn now when it's just the tire tracks, but when this corn is shoulder high and you're hogging down everything that you run over that goes underneath the tractor, that ain't coming back. Not worth it. I can back up for a little bit. It's okay. Having your normal, great video picture. This is live. Cell phone service, man. That's the problem. Remember those coyote tracks? Yeah, right when I'm walking. Yeah, thanks for that. Okay, where are we at foot-wise? We've got 964 feet. I'll have to do a little math on that. Yeah. All right, guys. Oh, let's change the spark plug. Let's see. There, you guys can see there. I don't know if or when the spark plug's ever been changed, so I'm assuming this is probably part of the problem, but I don't really know. It's not coming out super easy. I don't like that. Yeah, it doesn't look terrible, does it? Ah, crap. Yeah, I do have a new one though. We're gonna put it in. Oh, I don't like that. Okay, I got that. All right, I think we gotta go start up the pump. Valve's open, just double checking. 964 feet, right? Is that what I said? Okay. All right, guys. I'll show you starting to pump up, but then I'm going to end this live stream because I need my phone to do some math. And I'm going home to go to bed, so I appreciate you all joining me tonight. And hope you have a good night, a good day tomorrow. I do have a video coming out 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, and hopefully this thing works all right all night and we'll be good. So okay, do we got any more comments? Don't run over the pipe. Don't run over the pipe. Okay. Check the air filter on the, I checked that air filter before I started it up, so I don't think it would be that bad. It's possible. 964, yeah. What's since you guys are there doing math, what's 964 divided by 2.5? Yeah, I gotta go back and start it after it's after the pump is on. I can't start it before I start a big pump. Sometimes it'll go off. So 385.6. Okay, divide that by 60, please. $385.6 divided by 60. $6.42. Yeah, that's only 6.5 hours. Crap. 7 hours. What time is it? 11:30? That's 11. 6.5. That puts me here at 5:30 in the morning. Okay, what was that number? 964 divided by 2. $964 divided by 2. Should be 432, is that right? Okay, divide that by 60. crap. 482 divided by 60. 8. Okay, it is 8. All right, we're going to do that. So if I slow it down to 24 inches a minute, and I only put on, or I put on a full inch of water, then it'll take 8 hours. I'm okay with it taking 8 hours. So here's what we got to do. We got to prime our pump, which means we got to run our vacuum. Hold this handle. Okay, and then up here's my timer. Set that for 8 and hit go. Okay, pump is started. Now we'll go back and start up our retrieval motor, and it'll be done at 8 o'clock in the morning, or at 7 o'clock in the morning, which is fine. It needs an inch of water anyway because it's dry. So yeah, that'll work good. So all right guys, that's gonna be it for me tonight. I'm just gonna start this up, and then I'm heading out and going home and going to bed. Well, uploading a YouTube video and then going to bed. So thanks for hanging out. Thanks for all the questions, appreciate it. And we'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Watch my video. Thanks.